Every business is selling. Everyone is selling. And when you try to talk to people, people will tell you, I don't like selling. But when you drop your resume and go for that interview, what are you doing? You're selling your skills. You're selling yourself, and it's the best person who sells that gets the job. So everybody sells something, right? But if you acknowledge that you're selling, it makes it easier if you can develop the right skills for sales instead of you shying away from selling. And that's why we want to address this tonight, because I want you at the end of this meeting to be very good and effective in selling. So in my book, I talked about the framework of our business. The framework. So we talk about the Great Way systems. Systems are important. Very important. Without systems, things don't function. And I will give you a perfect example. Our body works as a system. So if something goes wrong with the system in our bodies, you know what happens, right? That's the same thing with business. If you are not functioning with the systems, right, something is affected in your business. But the things about system it's not just about system, right? It's about the framework. Because the framework, right, is what should be systemized. I'm going to break it down. So in my book, I talked about lapse, because every insurance advisor can relate with lapse. All right? You know, so that's the lapse framework. So L stands for leads generation. A stands for appointment. P stands for presentation. S stands for sales. And E stands for expanding your distribution network. But today we're not talking so much about leads generation. We're not talking so much about presentation, appointments. We'll talk about sales a bit, right? And because this is very important. Without conversions, without sales, there's no way you can be happy as an insurance agent. There's no way you'll be happy about the business. There's no way you'll be motivated, right? So I have a question for us, and I would like us to interact in this first question. Is selling what you do to people or what you do for people? Two or four? Okay. So, but if you don't understand, too, raise your hand if you don't understand the question. Is selling what you do for people or to people? Okay, why for? Can anyone just tell me why for? Okay. What else? Okay. So she said anything you're selling is for their own. There, I've used the word for again there. So it's you know. So when you set up $1 million plan for a family and something happens to that family, what have you done for the family income? You've protected the family income. When you invite someone to join the business and they earn 100,000 in 1 year, what have you done for that person? Okay. So if sales is for people, why are people not embracing sales?
They need to work. It's a mindset.
It's a mindset, right? We set our mind that sales is a bad thing. When you see a salesperson, you run away. Why? Because you've had bad experiences about sales and salespeople. Because most times they sound very salesy and pushy. So most times you just say, no, I don't want to do sales. But everybody is selling, like we said. Even to keep your job, you have to sell. You have to ensure that at least you are the best in that role. If not, you'll be replaced.
That's right.
So I want us to start shifting our mindset and seeing sales as something that is mandatory for us to do. in order to add value to people's lives. And when you begin to embrace sales in that way, you will begin to improve how you approach it. And this will change everything for you. So, remember this, selling isn't hard. Doing it the wrong way is hard. So, that's why it's hard, because most times we're doing it the wrong way. Also, focus on value, visibility, and being the buyer you want to attract. There are only two types of people, in my opinion. Or let me just say, two types of people, in my opinion. People who buy and people who sell. And if you are not selling, guess what? So, who is more advantaged? The person buying or the person selling most times? So, we now know where your money is going every time if you are not selling. So, you need to balance it. My point is that you need to embrace sale enough to know that you're giving value. And you need to be good at doing it. So, you're not closing people whenever you finish a transaction. What are you doing? You're opening the doors. Because every person you offer value to, guess what? It's a door that you opened into their world. Especially if you do it right. It opens the door to a new world for you. That's why I was talking to EVC today, and she was just telling me about the referrals. And a lot of you are experiencing it. When you serve people well, guess what? You get referrals, and you don't wonder, people are just calling you and all of that, right? And it's the same thing. When you experience something good, what happens? You refer people to that same thing that you've experienced. So why not give good quality to people, to your clients every time, so that you can get consistent door open for you? That's the whole idea. But we're going to approach it in different ways. Why this matters? Most entrepreneurs and insurance advisors, we start with strong passion, but we quickly hit a wall when it comes to selling. Then you start wondering, I hear this a lot. I've exhausted my one market. What next? Have you heard that before? So we'll talk more about that. So most people feel stuck and overwhelmed and even very discouraged, especially when people tell you what? No, right? You feel that this business is not for you. But selling isn't about being pushy. It's about being persuasive. It's about building connection, trust, and clarity. That's the whole idea. So this presentation is going to break down why selling feels hard and how you can shift your mindset and your strategy to succeed in sales. So let's look at 8 reasons why you feel selling is so hard. Number 1, you are too focused on the sale.
Yep.
So when you think like a closer, it puts pressure on you. That's the whole idea. But sales is about the law of averages. How many of us know the law of averages? So most times people say they struggle a lot in sales, in our business. Most times they tell me, oh, Ajiri, I've not closed this number of people, And I'll ask them, how many presentations did you do this month? They'll tell me only 3 or 4. How would you close? How would you? Once you tell me only 3 or 4, I know the problem already. You're not presenting to a lot of people. So it's about the law of averages. So if you present to 100 people, there's a possibility that you close 20. So instead of focusing on why you're not closing so much, focus on why you should be presenting more.
That's right.
And it changes everything. It shifts everything for you. So it's more about increasing your frequency of presentations. So how booked are your schedule every day? How many presentations do you do in a month, in a week? How many people do you connect with? And how do you increase the frequency of appointments? We'll talk about that too. It's not in my presentation, but we'll talk about that. But focus on planting seeds. So when we say don't focus on the sale, it's important. Like whenever I go into that presentation, I'm not going there because I must sell. No. I go there to add value to that person. I want to present to you to the extent that if you hear somebody else present that same topic, you say, no, the way Ajiri presented it makes more sense. That's the whole idea. Don't complicate things when you go into a presentation. Make it simple that even a 5-year-old can connect with it. We make it so complicated. That's why people get more confused after your presentation. And when you are more confused, guess what? You don't take action. So how can we simplify our presentation to make it so easy that the person will say, oh, this makes sense. This makes sense. That's what you want to be hearing. And how do you eliminate doubts? By asking more and more questions. I really can't do with everything, but my book talks about a lot of these things that I'm talking about. It's just that people don't read, even though they buy the books. But I understand, we'll break it down in many ways. But let your brand and your content do the heavy lifting. We'll talk about this because me and SCVC were talking about social media. And most people don't like to be on social media, right? How many of you don't like to be on social media? I like that. But we'll break that because the world is changing. You see AI today? AI was not like this 3 years ago. And it won't be like this 5 years from now. Things will change. 5 years will come, but will you change? That's the question. You know? And you have the answer to that question. So don't be too focused on the sale. Be focused more on the value you will add to that person. Let that be your fulfillment. So in 2019, when I started this business, I just sat down and analyzed it. I said, we're in the sales business. As much as we say we're helping this family, the medium of helping them is sales. And I started reading books on sales. I started improving myself on sales. Listen. The purpose of learning is what? What's the purpose of learning? Okay. I had to apply it, right? I had to know. What else? Wisdom? Okay, I will tell you the simple answer. The purpose of learning is mastery. Mastery. Anything that is difficult for you today is because you've not mastered it. It's because that thing has mastered you. How was it when you started tying your shoelace? It was hard, right? But now you can tie your shoelace and talk to somebody without looking down. Why? Because you mastered it. So analyze your life, analyze the business. Anything you're struggling with has mastered you. And until you master it, it will not be easy. And that was how driving was. That was how riding a bike was. That was how everything was. But now, even some people using a phone was hard when it started. But now they can use the phone, right? You've mastered it. And how do you master anything? Continuous usage. Applying it consistently. So if you're not good at sales, you've not mastered sales. And we have to continue mastering it by doing it, not just learning. Because a lot of us are good at learning. We write, we take notes, but after the meeting, we forget what you even did. If they even ask you, what did they talk about? I can't remember. Something else has come. You know, but until you apply it, that's when you will see results. I remember when some of us started doing the Great Way presentation, it was difficult because we do a lot of CP assessments, CFT assessment. It was difficult, but now you can present without looking at it. Why? You've done it over and over again. Right. And that's how you master any aspect of business, any aspect of the process, the systems that we talk about. You have to consistently do it. Okay. Number 2, people don't know you exist.
That's very hard.
That's why sales is difficult. Listen, I hear people say everybody is talking about insurance. Everybody is an insurance agent. Do you know why you feel that way? Do you know why? Do you know why? Okay. Because that's your world right now. It's like you're looking at buying a Tesla, right? You start seeing Tesla everywhere because now you're focused on a Tesla, on a red Tesla or a white Tesla. You just start seeing it. Why? Because when you are ready, awareness happens.
Yep.
And you start seeing things like that. But because now you are exposed to the world of insurance, that's why you feel that everywhere is saturated with insurance agents. Because now you are in that world and you are not aware. But you've been there many years, and insurance agents have been there many years, but you are not aware that people are so much in this business until the day they recruited you and you say, oh, that's true, everybody is doing this business. That's the whole idea. And we are not even enough. There are over 40 million Canadians. How many insurance agents do we have? We are not enough. We're not even talking about great, we are talking about the industry. Every time I get appointments because I'm online, people just book my calendar. I'm like, this thing works. But most of us are afraid of going online. And we are complaining that we've exhausted our one market. Listen, whenever you face a challenge, right, it's not because you are not good enough. It's because that challenge is there to make you innovative. You have to start thinking, what other thing can I do to overcome this thing? Anytime you give up because you face a challenge, it means that challenge has challenged you. But you need to challenge your challenge. Do you know why? Because every challenge you face does not have a brain, but you have a brain. So you are more superior than any challenge you face. Because your challenge can't think, but you can think. Yeah. So it's important for us to apply wisdom and knowledge. Anytime we're faced with challenges, it's not to stop you. It's not for you to quit. It's for you to think of a way around it. And how do you think about it? If your brain is blocked, ask questions. How are people doing it? What are people doing in other countries about things like this? Google. Now there's AI. You can ask AI. Right? So the world is easier now. You can think quickly and apply your brain to the thinking of AI. That's just it. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in any way. So people don't know you exist. And you need to show up one way or the other because you have something to offer. You have something. You don't have to show up on the internet just to talk about insurance. There's something you are good at. Maybe you are a realtor, you know how to help people buy more houses. Do that. And more people will listen to you. And the more you attract those people, the more you tell them about insurance. Maybe you are the youngest grandma in town. That could be a topic to just talk about. Just freestyle in front of a mic and in front of a camera. And just talk about it because it's easy for you. You don't need to read anything. You just talk. And somebody out there will just take interest and listen to you and begin to follow you. Listen, there's nothing that is nonsense. It depends on how you interpret it. This is why people follow terrorists. Yeah, and you wonder why. It's just crazy, right? But that's how the world is. So don't think you can't have disciples. Let me put it that way. If you see one thing about a brand, right? A brand has two significance, two qualities. A brand, right? You must stand for something or stand against something. That's what makes your brand. So what are you standing for or what are you standing against? Express yourself and you will see that you will build a brand from there. That's the whole idea. So sure, let people know you beyond your network. Because people are out there waiting for you. It's just that you're not ready. Alright, you're not confident, you're not a confident buyer yourself. The maybe you just have a $20 plan or a $50 plan, but you want to attract $1,000 clients. How? What if the client is saying, open your, let me see your plan, and you start showing them your $50 plan. So you have to be a buyer yourself. And that's why part of great faith philosophy is for you to at least have your own plan. And most of us have more than one plan. Why? Because it just shows that we believe in what we are doing. And it's easy for you to open up your plan. Sometimes I don't even have to do a full presentation. All I need to do, my prospect, is let me show you how I've used this plan for the last 5 years. That's all. And once I finish that presentation, they are doing almost the same premium I'm doing. It's straightforward like that. Use your plan because it's your plan. You've used it. Show people what you have. It's an easier way to present with your plan, and you're explaining every aspect of your plan. So, if you are not a confident buyer, it's going to be hard for you to be a good salesperson. So, examine it. Let it start from you first. So be a joyful buyer. Buy it. Most times, help other salespeople when there's an opportunity. And if you can afford to, do it. Because you're sowing a seed, you're paying it forward. Someone too will be excited to buy from you. Or if you don't want to buy from others and you want people to buy from you, I don't know, it's going to be hard. That's the reality. All right, number 4, you don't know how to close without pressure. People will say, the kind of pressure some people put in their voice and desperation when they are presenting. Not everybody has a cool voice like me, right? I'm slow. So the purpose of going into that presentation is to guide people and help them create awareness and guide them to make the right decision. So you don't want to influence them in any way, because when people feel pressured, most times they resist you. Even if what you're giving them makes sense, they will resist you one way or the other. So you have to ensure that you learn how to ask questions. So the first 10-15 minutes of your presentation has to be the discovery call. What do I mean? When people book you, because it's more on booking, but let's just assume we use the traditional way. You get someone into an appointment and you don't know this person before. How do you start your presentation? Establishing a rapport, right? Okay, so how do you establish the rapport? Okay, what kind of questions? Sorry? Family, okay. What else? Okay. So now the person is answering all of that, right? What next? Then, after telling the story, what next? Leading question. After the leading question, what next? Then you just open your presentation and start presenting. That's not a very perfect approach. Why? Because your questions has to be directed to their situations. I've entered the presentation, we've established the rapport, talked about Canada, talked about the weather, and I said to the person, I know you would have encountered a lot of insurance agents talk to you. What exactly has now made you get a plan? And the person said, I'm so confused about this universal life and all of these things that people talk about. That was a perfect answer for me, because I don't have to start going through all the presentation. I have to address the main problem that the person came into that presentation with. Because anybody you're meeting will come into that presentation with a bias or a doubt. And if you are not addressing it, you will present, you'll feel you've done the right presentation, but guess what? You've not given the right prescription. It's like you go into your doctor's office and you just get in there. The doctor says, oh, how are you doing? The weather is good. Did this? Take prescription and go. That's the problem. Because we are not really addressing the pain point or the doubt or the problem people are facing about this. So we need to ask proper questions. We need to ask things about their financial plans. We need to ask things about what their ideologies are about insurance. We need to ask all of those things before you even start your presentation, because that will guide you in the right path in presenting. If not, you're gonna present, and it's good presentation, but it's not going to the right person. And they're not accepting it because it doesn't make sense to them. They don't want to hear that. Right? I've entered presentations that the person said, "Oh, I'm confused about this whole life and universal life." But it was the right question that brought all of that up. Right? Because I asked most times, at the end of this presentation, what would you find valuable? What would be the most things that you find valuable out of this whole presentation that I want to leave you value? And they tell me what they want to hear or what they have doubts about. Then you start addressing it. Some it's about confusion about TFSAs and registered accounts. Start from there. You start from there, you address the problems that they face, then you now connect it and say, okay, I've talked about registered investment. There's a strategy you can use with life insurance. Let me show you how it works too. Then you start the presentation from there. But you need to learn how to ask the right questions if you want to be good at sales. Alright? Number 5, you're trying to get everyone to buy. Guess what? Not everyone is your client. And that's okay. Right? Even all the great people that we acknowledge today on this planet, the people that they were sent to were part of the people who killed them. So what do I mean? You're not sent to everybody. I'll give an example of Jesus Christ who was sent to the Jews, but who killed him? The Jews. We'll look at Malcolm X and the rest who are talking about the things that they believe in. Who put him in prison? And who killed him? The people. It's just going to be like that. Not everybody will accept you. Accept it and settle it. Because some will, some won't. So what? Someone is waiting for you, the person you are sent to. So you need to accept it. That's why it's important for you to serve and don't try to sell. Attract, don't try to chase. Very important. Right? So let's shift from pressure to posture. Becoming an authority that will attract the right people. By speaking to their pain points. Alright, number 6, you haven't defined your niche. When you talk to everybody, guess what? You're talking to nobody. And this applies a lot on social media. Because most times we come out there and we're not talking to people, specific people. Let's assume you see a post and you're struggling with generating leads. And you hear somebody say, or maybe one Nigerian people just said, let me just give you an example. Let's just say you are scrolling on Instagram or on Facebook, and I said something. If you are a life insurance agent and you are struggling to generate leads, what would you do? Are you a life insurance agent? What would you do? You listen, right? What did I do then? I called on a life insurance agent. I called on the struggle that they are going through generating leads. The ones that are not struggling generating leads, they will not listen to that, right? But the ones that are struggling to generate leads, they will listen to that. What if I can show you a system that gives you 5 to 10 quality leads every month? Click on the link below. What would you do? Can you see? So, if you're online, for example, you are not speaking to a specific people, right? You won't attract people. That's just how it is. So if you think about all the successful people on this planet, no matter who they are, Tony Robbins, anybody, they have a specific people they call out. Every time. You will see all the ads. If you're struggling with this, if you are a this, if you are a coach, if you are a that, what are they doing? They are calling specific people. Because you are not sent to everybody. So, you need to understand who you are sent to. How do you find that out? Sometimes it can be the problems you have overcome in the past. And you've come through that problem and you now know how to solve that problem. You can call on those people and help those people who are going through the same problem. It can be something that you're just an expert in. Everybody finds it difficult to do, but you find it easy to do. That could be your strength. Just connect with people and help those people, and you will see that you will attract people. That's the best way to attract leads. By understanding who you want to help. So how many of us know EVC marriage? You see now that most of our posts is targeted at what? At who? Nurses, right? Why? Because she has identified that she can help those group of people. And guess what? She's having a lot of nurses reach out to her. It's simple like that. What are you good at? That's where you need to start thinking about helping people in that direction, in that aspect of life. And this is why you see me now, I'm focused on helping more and more insurance agents. Why? To increase their sales. Why? Because I know I can deliver in that aspect. So find what you are good at. It doesn't have to be what I'm good at. It's just what you are good at. Because you are created for a purpose. And you know what your strengths are. But you can help more and more people out there. It does. Please, whenever you're trying to help people, don't just think about selling to them. Think about offering a solution to their problems. Just pick one problem. See, there's 1,000,000,001 problems on this planet. Pick one. Just pick one and be an expert in that one. And let people know you as the expert in that one. And guess what? You create wealth. That's how you carve the niche. Because we make it so complicated. It's not very complicated if you just focus on one thing. Then you start helping people in that area, and before you know it, you'll be attracting more and more people. And guess what? The thing about social media, there are 3 main things you need to do. People have to know, like, and trust you. And for them to know, like, and trust you, based on the research that was done, you have to have interacted with your post for 7 hours at least. So if you've posted today and you don't post in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the 7 hours is not counted. And it's the same thing with one market. If they don't know, like, and trust you, they will not come for that appointment. So every time you need to learn how to build that ability for people to know you and like you to the extent that they trust you enough to come for that appointment. And it's by you offering value. And it has to be free. This is why your employer does not pay you first. Guess what? You have to work first before they pay you. Why? Because you must give value first. So what free value can you give to attract people? It's part of leads generation. Although we're not talking about it, but I don't have any choice but to talk more about that. So define who you want to help, what problem that they are going through, and how you want to deliver that result. Very important. You know, it takes time, but that's the key to growing consistent leads. For some of you who are realtors, right, you can see it. You're getting people because you're helping more and more people in that process, right? And look at all the things that you're good at. You know, but if we cannot connect anything to you, then you have not started doing anything. If I call Tiger Woods now, what comes to your mind? Golf, right? But if I call your name, what comes to mind? That means people don't know you enough, right, to even identify you as an insurance advisor. People call me for all kinds of insurance. Every time I get messages, oh, please, do you do car insurance? Please, do you do this? Why? Because I put myself out there. And at some point, when I started this business, people they were laughing at me. They were calling me Mr. Insurance, Mr. Insurance. I was happy They didn't know I was happy because it means that people now know me for insurance. But what are they calling you? Because some of us are even shy to let people know we have this license. We're not proud of it. So how do you want to grow in a business like this that you're not proud of or confident in? I know I'm stepping on toes today, but I'm sorry. Yeah. So, number 7, your content doesn't speak to pain points. Like I gave an example now. You have to learn how to speak to pain points. You have to learn how to address it. So most advisors just post about, oh, you went on a trip, you went on a cruise. But you are not connecting it to people's pain points. So you're posting a cruise video or picture. Just put it out there. Are you looking for time freedom? Connect with me, let's talk more. Are you looking to retire your boss and enjoy this lifestyle? What are you doing? You're talking to the people who are angry and they want to retire their boss, right? That's a pain point. Right? So you want to speak to the fear of loss or the dream of, you just want to talk about the things that they can experience. That's the whole idea. So that's a way to attract people. Understanding people's pain points. Also, you haven't built a sales process yet. So most times we just do random outreach, but we don't have a system within ourselves. How do you nurture your leads? So I use the word leads because we call it prospects too, right? How do you nurture them? How do you consistently nurture them and convert them into an appointment, then close them, then learn how to follow up? All of these are strategies you must develop in your sales process. Because one of the biggest challenges most insurance agents face is follow-up. How many of us are guilty? Aha. Follow-up. We present to everybody, but we don't have a follow-up system. Ajiri has presented, giving us a CRM system that you can use to log in every presentation you do. So that your CRM can follow up in the first 1 week. You can even create newsletters every month. Every person you presented to, put them in your CRM. Every month you're sending a newsletter to them. How many of us receive mails from H&M on all of these designers? Why? Because you are a lead to them. So they send you all of those things, even though it comes as spam, but it's just a reminder that they exist. They keep sending you mails. So what if you have a monthly newsletter? You just send it so that your clients are just seeing something. Oh, from Ajiri, oh, that's my advisor, right? It clicks. It's something to do to remind. It's a follow-up system. And there are many other ways you can create follow-up systems. Most of my clients see my video online and they say, oh, that's my advisor at least. They are proud of that, right? And I'm showing up in their feeds, in their faces. So they're reflecting. Some of them will text me, oh, that thing you talked about, can you share more with me? That's an appointment. Before you know, you're closing more people from there. That's why visibility is important. Very important. All right. So we need to have a system where we track the appointments that we do and we track everything that we do at least every week. How many presentations we do. You have to track all of these numbers if you want to be successful in business. All right. So let's shift the way you sell. Selling doesn't have to feel hard. Because when you focus on connection over conversion, clarity over confusion, and value over volume, you will win. So remember, you are not in the business of convincing. Guess what? You are in the business of serving. If you understand this, then it's easier for you to serve more people. Right? Right. So I'm just sharing a copy of my book. My books are outside, just in case you want to get more. And it would be interesting if you get more and ask me some questions from the book also. Right? I'm going to leave it open for questions.
Guys, the book's not free. It's $25, okay? It's outside. You gotta pay, right?
And we accept cards. Can payments. All right. right. So, do we have questions, please? Lots of questions. Okay.
You said you're online. How did you actually? Sorry.
Right here.
Oh, sorry.
Can you tell us, you said that you are online for your appointments and everything. How did you actually, give us a little tricks on how to do that?
All right. So, first and foremost, if you're going to be online, right, you have to talk on things that matters, right? To attract more and more people, just like we talked about, your pain points, and you have to identify who you want to serve. So, if, for example, you want to focus on insurance agents or you want to focus on high net worth clients, so let me ask you a question. Who are the people you really enjoy working with as an insurance agent?
My clients are from, right now I'm focusing more on 15 and up.
Okay.
Because this is where I find that majority of people have the money and now they just have a different issue. It's downsizing, transition, and everything else. So that's where my focus is, how I can help them make that transition over.
That's a very great market, and that's a very good niche. So, some content ideas I will give you. What I would have done before I turned 50. That's one content we talk about that. What I can do differently at age 50. That's the topic too. 5 things that I wish I knew before I turned 50. That's the topic. So when you just understand, write down 10 pain points that a 50-year-old, we've talked about one, downsizing and all of that. Why you shouldn't downsize when you get to 50. So you're talking to a different audience too, but you're talking to them about 50. Why? Because they want to learn. Some people who are turning 50 now will say, let me watch this. Some people who are in their 40s will say, let me learn from this. And guess what? You'll be attracting people like that because those topics are important. 6 things I would have done with my RSP before I turned 50. Why I wouldn't like an RSP after age 50. You can see, I'm just thinking all these things out here, but you can see that it's a topic that any person that sees will want to listen to, and you just speak to it, and before you know it, people are attracted to your topic, and they're waiting for the next one, and you're addressing those things. You can see I'm not selling insurance here. We're just talking about issues that matters to people. And before you know it, people are clicking on it, I want to learn more. And when you start putting what we call a call to action to all of those posts, if you want to learn more, DM me the word this, or send me a message this, and I will have a free 15 minutes chat with you. People now want to connect with you. So you start getting appointments like that.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't know my presentation would be that long. Well, I wanted more
Hi,
questions.
Ajiri.
Thank you.
So my question is for those of some of us who are very new or way behind as far as doing social media. What is your advice for us? How do we start out, and what's the best way to get started?
All right. So I run a coaching program for that.
All right. Okay.
But I'm not here to sell my coaching program, guys. But the easiest way to get started is to start. When you are faced with a camera, don't look at the camera as if it's a camera. Sir, when you're talking to the camera, talk to the camera as if this is a 50-year-old. You're giving the advice to that 50-year-old. You just be talking to, be free like that. Don't make it look like, oh, I'm being recorded. No. Talk to the person, talk to the camera as if this is the person in front of you. And it's just going to be easy that way. You make mistakes the first time, go ahead with your mistakes. Because when you make mistakes, people can relate that this person is real and this person is talking from their heart. But when you make it so perfect, People will say, it's one of those things, they will scroll past it. Right? So you just be yourself in front of that phone, just talk to. But the first thing is identifying the people you want to serve, understand their problems. List at least 10, 15 of the problems. Then how can you solve those problems? The problems will be your content.